After Christmas. So the wheels are off. We'll try to conduct a professional interview with our next guest. Analyst for your Sacramento Kings, Kayte Christensen. Good morning.
Good morning, David.
We're going with David for professional, huh?
Yes.
By the way, Avery said to say hello. She just randomly
brought in the studio with you?
No, she randomly brought you up last night. She goes, "When's the last time you had Kayte?" I was like, "Last Wednesday." She goes, she's used to me walking around with you on my phone half the time. She goes, "I haven't seen her forever. Tell her I said hello." I said, "I'll tell her you said hello."
Oh, she's a good one. I don't know how that came out of you.
Her mother came out. It didn't come out of me. I saw it. Well, okay. I guess, yeah, no, that's a great point. Yes, I did all the hard work. That is true. And now she'll be going to college next year, Kayte. How old do you feel?
I know. Ancient. I'm not as old as you.
That's a good point. Yeah, almost though. Okay, I said something. Sometimes I say things during the week, and I go, "Gosh, I wonder what Kayte would think." I want to say the thing to you because generally I say the thing, and then you say calm down, you dumb. And Mike Brown said after the Denver game that he and his staff, I'm paraphrasing here, but he and his staff have to do a better job at these guys coming out of the gate early and doing the things, the defense or the 3-point, all that stuff. I'm sure you saw it. And I said, okay, so for me, that tells me one of two things. Either A, the coaching staff is not doing a good enough job. I mean, they had 3 days off. They're not doing a good enough job at getting these guys ready. And this is something that he said multiple times this season. So it's not like a new thing they've just discovered. So A, they're not doing a good enough job. Or B, to me, what's even worse is, or are they actually doing a really good job and the players are tuning them out, which is actually kind of worse if you're losing the team and they're just like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Am I missing a third option there?
Okay, let me process this for a second. First of all, I don't agree with the thought process, I guess, is kind of where I'm hung up.
Okay.
I've been in, these game prep sessions and film and, going over the scouting report. And let me just say this so everyone's clear. This team is very well prepared. The coaching staff is incredibly well prepared. So, I think Mike Brown saying that is an honest evaluation of how he feels, because when you're sitting in that chair, you take a massive amount of the responsibility. But having been on the other side and been the person, suiting up and playing, like, it's a player's responsibility to come out prepared. The coaching staff gives you everything you need. It's on you to be prepared and to come out from the jump and be ready to go, be ready to execute, be ready to play at the level that you're expected to play at. And, this team has collectively set goals. So, it's on everybody in that sense. But I guess I disagree in the sense that it almost sounds like you're inferring that, the coaching staff has potentially lost the locker room. And I don't think that at all is the case.
Or they're or the other one was that they haven't lost the locker room and they're not doing a good enough job and the players are listening, but somehow these guys are repeatedly doing, or more to the point, not doing some of the same things. So I'm just trying to find what's missing here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question because it's puzzling to everybody, because I think it's clear, when you get down by 23 in the first quarter to a team that is very similar to the Kings in several ways. I mean, they have a really talented starting lineup. They were missing one starter, but that wasn't, Kings were, missing plenty of their own players. I mean, you're missing Keegan Murray in that game. Kevin Huerter's out. Trey Lyles has been out. I mean, it's just been an onslaught of injuries for this team. And, you have another starting lineup at 9th or 10th for the Kings this season. And this is a team that has, just rolled out the same starting lineup almost, every single game for the last couple of years. So they've dealt with plenty of adversity and things that they're trying to work through and issues like that. And that is a factor in these things. But like Denver doesn't have a very deep bench at all either. The Kings bench has underperformed this year, and part of that has been injuries and changing and just trying to figure out new pieces. But they're not performing at the level they really need to be. And so, just to call a spade, they're, both teams have a great starting lineup, but not great supporting cast at this point in the season. So to get down 23 and then dig yourself out of that hole is really impressive. Their second quarter, they scored 47 points, 2 points off a franchise record for points in a quarter. So, they clearly have the ability. So the question is, how come stringing together 48 minutes has been such an issue for this team? And that's really, I think what the coaching staff's trying to figure out, what everyone watching is trying to figure out, what we're trying to analyze on the broadcast. And if I had an answer for you, I would be in a much different position than I am.
Sure.
So for me, I always tend to go to the thought process of this is on the players. They're prepared. They have the information they need. The scout is always top notch. They do a tremendous job. And every coaching staff really in the league does. I mean, with analytics and the, massive coaching staff that teams have now, they have broken down every element of every player of every game. And they had plenty of time to prepare for this. They had a few days off. They had practice time, which is rare. So to me, a little bit, which we see a lot when teams come off of a few days off, it's almost detrimental to them, because playing in practice and all that is not the same as playing a game. And it's like we see it time again in this league, not, specific to the Kings, is just teams, it might take them a quarter to get things going when you've had an extended rest. And I feel like that's kind of what happened the other night. So the thing is, okay, that's going to happen occasionally, but can it be a 5-minute thing and not a 12-minute thing? Because that's and I said it at the end of the broadcast, Dave. Everyone's going to look back at DeMar's turnover because that was a clear dunk opportunity, and they're going to say that that's what lost the Kings that game. It's not. I mean, it's simple. It's the last play of the game. We can go ahead and underanalyze this if you want and just say, yep, that's the reason they lost. No, the reason they lost is because they went down by 23 in the first quarter. So there's where your problem is. Now you have to focus and adjust and fix that. So, what is the solution? It's got to be collaborative between the players and the coaching staff.
You were wrong about one thing you said demonstrably, and I'll point it out to you, as I love to do. I'll quote you. You said everyone says, and then you said the whole thing about the DeRozan thing. I think I said literally verbatim what you said, surprisingly, when I was analyzing this thing yesterday morning. Yes, I thought that was a perfectly drawn up play. DeRozan should have dunked it or laid it up. He was 100%. That was a clear play. He knew the ball was coming, and he fumbled it. Mistake. Lost the game. Yes, but they also lost the game when they went down 20 in the first quarter. I said the same thing, Katie. It's not everyone.
You have some of your marbles. Congratulations.
Kayte Christensen joining us right now. At the same time, it's so frustrating, and it's difficult because anything you say other than they suck is looked at as an excuse. It's not a moral victory. I don't care that they're getting closer. I don't care about any of that. Denver got it together in the end, and they were absolutely perfect, and Jamal Murray was on fire, and the Kings farted themselves around for the last 4 minutes and blew a 10-point lead at home. I'm going to ask you another impossible question because I like to do this, and I know you don't have all the answers, but I don't either. They're now 2 games under 500 at home. When they were the 3 seed, they were actually 2 games better on the road than at home. Last year, I think they won 2 more games at home. Their differential, and this has really been on my mind this year, their differential between home wins and road wins is at or near the bottom of the league. And this isn't just this year. This is over the last few years. Now, I don't need to tell you or anyone listening that Sacramento Kings fans are one of the, if not the best fan bases in the NBA. This isn't a case of empty arenas and fans that are blah, 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 blah. But, and I'm searching here, what the hell is it? And is it partially maybe because this fan base is so understandably scarred that it might be a little easier right now than the average Bear to take them out of it, i.e. a 20-point lead in the first quarter? Do you have any idea why there's that disparity?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think part of it can be attributed to the fact that you got to actually analyze and look at who your schedule, who have you played, and I think we've had January and February, we're going to be gone most of those 2 months. I mean, the Kings it feels like we've been home, especially this month, way more than on the road. And you might go on the road for 2, but you come back. Like we have not hit like the road schedule yet at this point. It's not been terrible here early in the season. And when you look at the changeover between coaching staff as well as, personnel, and Mike Brown very publicly, saying on multiple occasions that he's still trying to figure out the workings of his staff, with the loss of Jordy Fernandez, who, managed a lot of things from rotations and minutes and all of those things, but also the players. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like 9 or 10 different starting lineups. This is, a wrinkle that Mike Brown hasn't had to deal with here yet. So I think it's more about, the trying to integrate DeMar DeRozan and figure out how to make that work with the style and in this lineup. And all of those things kind of collectively, brought together. I think those all are factors in what the home, record is at this point. The road always has its challenges because you're on the road and, you factor in the injuries, like all of those things, Dave. I mean, I know we all want to look at it and be like, what's going on? This great fan base. It absolutely is. I mean, we just came from New Orleans, where I swear to God, there were 3,000 people in that building, and it was so loud. Like, they have to pump in fan noise. And I'm sitting here going, like, how in the world is it so loud in here when, there's 14,000 empty seats?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not on the fan base. It's not on, the pleasure of being able to play in front of the fans at Golden One, because they bring it every single night. It's not that. I think it's just, you have to look at it collectively as a whole. And I know I probably piss people off a lot because what I'm saying right now, it's not an excuse. It's just it's a reality of professional sports. It's never one or two things. It's a collection of a bunch of things, and it's not an excuse. It's just reality. And the great teams are the ones that figure out how to have success when faced with all the different adversities that you're going to be faced with during a season. Like you look at the 60-point game from De'Aaron Fox and the 49-point game. I mean, that was without DeMar and Domas.
Yeah.
And I believe they won one, and the one, against Minnesota, they almost won in overtime. Like, if you look at that in reality, it's like they had no business being in that game against Minnesota. Just looking at, the bodies they were missing, the important pieces they were missing, but they figured out a way to almost come out with that. And it took a 60-point game from De'Aaron, and it wasn't enough. That just tells you how collectively it takes so many things to be right for teams to have success in this league, and specifically in the Western Conference. I mean, it is an absolute joke to me, the difference between the East and the West, and what that means in the Western Conference, especially early in the season. You look at it and you're like, oh my God, like you're in 12th, 13th place, and your record is better than the 4th place team in the Eastern Conference. Like, what in the world is the reality in the NBA? It doesn't seem fair, but you have to face the things that are laid out in front of you. And this is just the reality for the Kings.
You brought up New Orleans. We got to go here, but, just remember, on the NBA broadcast, on the NBA League Pass broadcast, those mics are on a lot. Did you hear about that?
No.
You didn't hear. I know you're not on social media. You and Mark were commenting on the lack of noise in New Orleans as you guys are coming back from break, and
the lack of bodies.
The mic was on.
I'll tell you what. Like, we're out on an island, because we have no control over our microphones.
Right.
It's somewhere.
You don't have a clicky? You don't have the little on-off clicky there?
So we have a talk back button where we can talk to the truck, but they have to open our mics so that we can talk to each other during break.
You don't have a kill?
No, we don't.
Wow.
And so I will say this in all honesty. We have to be able to talk to each other during the break.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But in New Orleans, we were having so many issues with the audio person there. And so, you know what? I don't know what was said.
It wasn't anything terrible.
Offended.
There was no swearing.
Okay.
It wasn't anything terrible.
Okay.
I think it was, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like,
Thank goodness.
I can't believe it. So God, it is dead in here. It was something like that.
But the reality of it is, like, it's a dangerous situation to be in. So
you better be
God,
careful.
That was the only thing.
With that mouth. You better
no, I mean, could embarrass a sailor for sure. Yeah. Hey, thanks for letting me know, because I literally don't. I just don't go on.
I didn't think you did.
Anymore.
I wouldn't have brought it up publicly if it was anything bad. It was funny, but I think I was in Europe and somebody sent me a clip. They're like, get hold of your girl Katie. I was like, this isn't bad.
Yeah,
I think you would have gotten text Katie.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I guess this is true. Dodged the bullet there, didn't I?
Yes, you did. But don't. You ain't Neo in the Matrix, dude. Don't spin that wheel of fortune too many times.
Yeah, no joke, right?
That's Kayte Christensen, analyst for your Sacramento Kings, back-to-back versus the Lakers coming up. Finish that shopping, put up the Katie Griswold version of lights. I'm sure you're still doing. Well, what the hell, you've already done it.
We're wrapped on that. We have it dialed in.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'll talk to you before, but Merry Christmas to you and yours. Have a good holiday, and we'll see you on the broadcast.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you guys next week.
No, I'm gone. Christmas. Hey, I'm gone, dude. It's all good. I'll talk to you in 3 weeks from today, as a matter of fact. So have fun.
Finally, a break. My goodness.
All right. Shoosh. See you. Take care. Bye. That's Kayte Christensen. We'll take a break. I don't know if anybody else saw that clip, but that made me laugh. When we come back, hey, what's wrong with the